relative young guys in that room. The transition, obviously the on-the-field transition is one thing, but how difficult or underrated is the off-the-field transition, the meetings, the film study, that part of the job that maybe they don't understand until they get in the building?
With our young players, there's a lot of challenges, and they go beyond what's just on the field. And I think that, what we've done in the way we've structured our meetings and the amount of walkthroughs that we have, it's an opportunity for those players to develop in those settings prior to getting on the field. So I would say we spend as much time and are very intentional about how we spend that time prior to going on the field. We try to be very organized in our meetings. We try to really be intentional about our teaching sessions with those players, because you can really gain a lot before you get on the field. And I think that if the young players don't take advantage of that part of the process, they're not going to have success.
What can you tell us about Isaiah Bond, and how has he looked so acclimated so fast?
Isaiah's done an outstanding job of coming in here, number one, of working very hard. He's done everything we've asked him to do. He's been outstanding in the meeting room. He's really displayed that he's very smart, that he can do a lot of things for us as far as his role. So that's very, very exciting when you have a player that has a physical skill set that you can use in a variety of ways, but to combine that with a player that takes a lot of pride in the mental aspect of the game, and he's very capable in that area. So that's the part that's been very exciting working with Isaiah, is how well he's done on the mental side of the game. And I think that's occurred because he's blessed with having good intelligence, but he also works very hard, and he's listened to not only the coaches, but he's listened to some of the veteran players on just how to go about his daily routine and how to, get out there and help the team as quickly as we can. And I think that starts with just his work ethic. We're very fortunate to have Bravo Brown, that's our assistant wide receiver coach, and I think he's done an outstanding job of spending extra time with Isaiah. And Isaiah's been very committed to us, during those sessions. We get him here early in the building, he stays late, and we've really tried to accelerate his learning, and he has really done a great job in that area.
Gage, who was undrafted, went through camp and everything, was there just like a moment in the off-season program, training camp, that really just stood out to you about him and his skill set? And how excited were you for him that he made the roster? So
excited about Gage and him making the roster. He was so deserving of that. From day one, there was something different about Gage, from the way he worked to the way he performed on the field. I mean, in the rookie mini camp, he performed at a level that you want a receiver to perform at. He got open, caught the ball, and that continued through the process. It continued once we got into training camp, and then obviously in the preseason, he performed very well on the field. It's a great example of the path in which one takes isn't what's important to get here. What's important is once you get here, what you do with your opportunity. And I think that he's just a great example, probably one of the better ones we've had in the receiver room in recent years, of taking advantage of an opportunity and going out there and making the team. And he put himself in position to do that because of his work ethic, the type of person he is. He's a great teammate. I'm so excited to have Gage as part of our team right now, as I am. We have a couple practice squad players right now that, if we could dress 7 guys, they would play in the game. That's how we feel about them. Taking like Caden Davis. He's on our practice squad, so obviously, he won't be eligible to play in the game this week. But at any time, I would have complete confidence in playing a guy like Caden Davis, and to include our other young players and our practice squad players in a game. I'd feel real comfortable with that.
I remember last year's stat talking about knowing he needed to get used to second year's game planning for him more, and maybe not getting so many easy opportunities, and obviously doesn't really get the chance because he gets hurt. I guess how important is that in this next step of his development here with you guys?
I think it's really important. But I think that what we've asked him to do is to fall back on just trying to focus on what exactly is the detail of what you need to do on that play? It's like almost staying in the present, staying in the now, and not worrying about, who's playing you defensively, what scheme they might be playing you defensively. Let's focus on doing your job, right? And then a little bit less focus on maybe the scheme of the defense and who's playing across from you, whether it's at practice or whether it's in the first game of the season. And he's done a really nice job of that, so we've been really impressed with that.
That he saw a scenario in which it was maybe more difficult for him with the attention that he drew in last season and success that he had. How do you see him anticipating that, approaching that, knowing that he might be double teamed more, he might have a harder time getting open, but still wanting to be that wide receiver one, make that impact?
Yeah, obviously very high expectations with Jerry because of the season that he had last year. And we've talked a lot about managing those expectations. And one of the best things we can do with Jerry and he can do for himself is just to do the things last year that brought him success, and that was being very detailed in everything he does, to being on the same page with the quarterback, to getting exactly the coaching point that we ask him in the meetings, getting that correct on the field. So if Jerry stays within that, right, and doesn't try to do too much, right, then I think he'll have a lot of success. And that's what Jerry's done so far in the preseason, is he's just tried to just do his job, right, and just try to get the detail of what we ask him on that play and not think too much about, statistics and targets and those things. Just worry about doing our job and doing what's best for the team. And Jerry, what a great team guy he is. And I'll say this, he's really emerged as a leader for us. I mean, I know he doesn't say a lot, but what I see is his actions speak so much louder than what he says. He's just provided us great leadership. And when you talk about the development of young players, you have to have a leader in the room besides the coach that needs to help the development of the young players. And I think that, like, the success of Gage making the team, the progress we've seen in some of our other younger players that are on the practice squad, a lot of that goes, credit to Jerry because of his leadership, that he's provided a young group of receivers, to include Sed. Sed's still a young football player for us, and Jerry's really done a great job of providing leadership for our young players on our team.
When it comes to, obviously, Tommy and Kevin sat down and remade this run game. How much of an emphasis has that been in your room, your guys' involvement in getting this run game back to where it was?
A lot. I mean, it's something we asked the guys in our room to do three things: to get open, catch the ball, and last but not least, compete in the run game. And we take a lot of pride in that. And we know how important it is to our offense that we run the ball extremely well. We take a lot of pride in that. We know that we can be a factor in the run game. I think of a guy like Cedric, who has done a great job in that area of being very selfless, of putting the team first. Obviously he's a bigger body that we'll ask to do some different things than we would for one of our smaller receivers just because of his size. But most importantly is he's very competitive, and he takes a lot of pride in doing the job in the run game. So we talk about it. We just got done talking about it 10 minutes ago about how important it will be for us to be a factor in the run game. Good. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
with Carson, like, what are you looking for him in this first outing, especially with those green dot responsibilities that we've seen him take on?
Yeah, just staying in his process. He's, like we've said, he's really good at that, going to the next play, staying in the process, whatever happening. And the biggest thing in your first game is there's going to be things that happen, whether it's adjustments or whatever, and it doesn't matter. What I mean by that is when you see the ball wherever it is, you got to go get it. That's his strength, his effort is chasing the ball, and that's what we want to see. Because if something's wrong, we'll fix it.
Of your room, you've had to overcome some adversity in the room this season of losing guys left and right. But how do you think the room has responded to that? I mean, it looks like you guys are reasonably healthy right now, but how have you overcome that?
I think our room, number one, they're a lot of fun to be around right now. We love going on the field. We go on the field. They all play catch before practice. They just enjoy being around each other, number one. And that's the love of the game is something that, you know, it's professional level, but we're playing football. And every day you can get a smile on your face and go to work. Every time we get in that meeting, they're ready to go. They've been early in their meetings. And I really like how we interact. We know that anybody could be in at any point in time. That's how this league works. That's how this world works. And what I've been proud of the guys of is embracing that. And so now we get to go do it for real. So excited to see how we look.
From Easton this summer, I feel like he was a guy that, really maybe had to make his name on special teams, but as a linebacker, it's what really seemed.
Really like Easton, just like we were talking about Carson, his effort and his ability to be the same every day is there. He loves football. He likes contact. He listens. He takes coaching. He tries, if I say anything, he tries it right away. And just his ability he got his body. He took it from the off season. Anything we worked on, just power in his lower body, getting in and out of his breaks, for example, got over the summer got better and better. And that's one of the things with young players and rookies anyway, is if you can take anything you're working on and come back better and get better every day, you got a chance. And that's where Easton is. Proud of how he's worked.
Kind of limited throughout training camp at times too. But how have you seen him work through that injury to get ready for the season and also balance this desire to have this league this year? Well,
it's been with Mahmoud. He came to camp in really good shape, and he was having his best camp. He was all over the field, and he actually hurt it by saving a touchdown, which was a great play by him. And he's attacked his rehab really well, and I'm excited to see him. The good part that Mahmoud has done, becoming a young pro in this league, is being able to play any position and not worrying about a little bit of that question, not worrying about when he's in, just worried about when he's in any of the positions being the best he can be on that play. And sometimes that's hard to get over when you come from college, when you're the best at everything you do, right? A lot of these guys. And it doesn't matter. Mood, go. Gotcha, coach. And that, to be able to lock your brain in, whether or not you're getting reps when you're hurt, is a strength, and it is an acquired skill. And he's getting better and better at that, learning from, even if he's not in the reps, because that's not easy for any player to do, but especially younger players.
Joe Burrow, getting pressure on him, specifically from your position group, what's the challenge? Because it seems like he's one of the best in the league at getting rid of the ball quick. How do you have to sort of handle that? Especially if you're kind of, a guy like Carson coming off the edge or something.
Yeah, if we're blitzing, we got to go. There's no messing around. There's no taking little steps. You got to go, because if you're blitzing, you better get there really fast, as we know. He's good to get rid of the ball. So that's the key. When we're activated by Coach Schwartz in our different schemes, we got to be on point. Can't be hesitating. Can't be late in our roll-offs that we call them on the line of scrimmage. You got to roll, because the ball's out if you don't.
Your guys' unit, what's it been like with that D-line in front of them and, throughout camp and the preseason, seeing the kind of pressure they've been able to create? How has that impacted your guys' jobs? Well,
that's the job of the linebacker, right? It's even in his name of our position, which is we're back behind the line, which I kind of like saying that one, but the D-line's job is to cause havoc, and our job is to clean it up. And it's a lot of fun to clean it up when they're causing havoc. So that's how I'd say it, because that's when it works. Now, when the D-line is going forward at the offense, we have to be able to adjust good enough if say there's a gap, but then that gap closes. We got to be able to fix and help them. So when you play behind it, you need the live practice reps, and we've gotten more of those in this camp, and that's helped us.
How about Jerome? Just what kind of veteran presence does he bring, and how is that helping you guys this year?
I'm really excited for Jerome because, he gets to play in his hometown, and for anybody to be able to get to play in this league in your hometown, that's exciting. He's been very positive, and he has not played in this type system, and he's put in the work to really master the system. This week, for example, and we were just in the meeting talking about it, his breaks have gotten faster and faster, and he feels comfortable. We had a talk at the beginning of camp, and I said, in a few weeks, let's do it again. And I said, how do you feel? And he just smiles, big smile. And I'm like, all right, cool. He's getting ready to go. So he's really good with the younger guys. He's very positive. And he said a few things like, hey, expect this, just by the side, just kind of pulls them aside and says things. He probably doesn't want me to say all that, but but Jerome, definitely glad Jerome's here. And, we're going to need all of them like we were talking about. So excited for when he gets his chance. All right. Thanks, guys. Go Browns.